Now let's look at your content calendar. Your content calendar is going to do several things. One, it's going to keep you organized when you are looking at the frequency of your posting, what you're going to post, and planning out your posts. You have your content pillars. You know the 3 to 5 topics that you tend to talk about, that you tend to show. And then you are going to, and so your content pillars would be, so you have your content pillars and then you put them into, okay, is a post going to be inspirational? Is it going to be evidence-based, like a testimonial? Is it going to be personal? That's where you bring in the storytelling as well. That's where it's resourceful, like how can your content help your clients? And then expert. How can your content position you as an expert? It is very important, guys, especially for those of you who find yourself not posting at all, or you post like once or twice a week, sometimes once or twice a month. I understand, been there, done that. Is a content calendar will help you tremendously because if you sit down once per month or every 2 to 3 weeks and you put your information in and you fill this out, then you have a plan that you can stick to so that when you don't feel inspired, when you don't feel like posting, you can pull this up and you already know, okay, today is Wednesday or today's Thursday or it's Friday, and I know that I'm supposed to post this thing on this date, so let me just do it and I could schedule it out. And that is a good thing about certain social media platforms. You can actually schedule out your content. So at the very top of this content calendar, and you don't have to use this one, it's just it's a template, but there are so many, there are different ones that you can use. So this particular content calendar shows you November 2025 to December 2026. So each month has its own calendar. At the very top, it says, what is your client goal? As in, how many clients do you want to secure per month? How many art pieces do you want to sell per month? And then your revenue goal. What is the amount of your revenue goal? That's very important to know because your content and your content calendar subsequently are going to support your effort to sell to this many people and to make this amount of money. Okay, so up here at the top right, you get to see, okay, my content can consist of going live, it can consist of posting reels, it can consist of posting carousels, which is like the multi-photo post that you see, or it consists of one post, right? Just one image. So you decide, let's say Sunday. On Sundays, you do an inspirational post. You may not do Monday, so you leave that blank. You may post, let's say in the beginning, 2 to 3 times a week. So maybe you do Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, or you test out Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Part of the good part of having a content calendar is you get to audit what is working. So you get to see, okay, yeah, I post on Sundays, but I don't get as much engagement as if I post on Wednesday. Or maybe I need to move my inspirational posts to be on a Friday or to be on a Wednesday because people are trying to get through the week, right? And they need to feel inspired to get to the end of the work week. Whatever it is, your content calendar allows you to audit and see and look back on what's working and what you can change and edit. So be diligent about putting in, you can put in your captions directly into this Excel spreadsheet, or you can use this in Google Sheets as well. Again, if you don't feel inspired, if you don't feel like posting, you would have already done this work and have posts ready that you just need to cut and paste and add an image. Okay. And you can do this for every single month. I suggest that you have a set date each month that you sit down and you plan out your content. And if you don't have a caption yet, at the least, whichever inspirational, like whatever you, when you did your research and you looked at persons in other industries, save those links and then you can temporarily drop them into this content calendar to say, okay, on this day, I want to do a post like this, or I want to recreate this to do and post on this day as a start. Okay. Or you could keep those links in a separate folder the way that I do. But don't just go looking for research and then you don't save the things that you like that you want to recreate in your own way because you would have spent time for what? Because you're not going to remember all the ideas. You're not going to remember to go back and find everything unless you've saved them in a particular place. For me, I love to save things either in my notes app on my phone or laptop, or I literally save things directly in TikTok or Instagram or Facebook. So your content calendar, super important. I cannot stress that enough. As you post, remember this very, very important thing. Remember, you are in business, even as you are the business, as a personal brand, you're in business to make money. And so, one of the things that you have to do is sell. I know, I know, I know. I don't like the hard selling. I'm not super salesy, but one of the things that I've had to learn over the years is people are not necessarily going to make the connection that they should buy from you unless you tell them to. I know, crazy, right? So you need to use something called CTAs, call to action, or calls to action in your post. You don't need to do this every single time, but you do need to figure out how often you're going to use CTAs. And that also has to do with the nature of your post, right? So, for example, if you are posting something inspirational, it's a Sunday, you just want people to have a great week. Unless you have a product that has something to do with that, you don't need to say, "Hey guys, if you want to see more, visit my website. That may not be the proper post. Whereas if you are sharing evidence, as we saw in the content calendar, or a testimonial, then that may be a good time to say, you know, book a consult call with me to see how we can make a custom piece for your space. Your CTA doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be jarring. You see how I just kind of slid that in there? Believe it or not, people need to be directed in how to engage with you. That is why, if you are someone who spends time on social media, you may see people say, like and share this post if this was helpful. You know why? Because the majority of people who are on social media do not like and do not share. The probability of someone liking and sharing after they read, please like and share, or feel free to like and share, goes up because people now have an instruction to follow. That's not to say that 100% or even 50% of people who see the post or who watch the reel or the video or the story are actually going to do this, but it increases the chances that it will be done. So you need to have called to action as a part of your strategy, as a part of you hitting that client goal or that revenue goal, right? And so I would recommend to you, again, as you use AI um, or to incorporate into AI, explain to Chat GPT. And y'all, I am a fan of the paid version of Chat GPT and Gemini, not the free because it's very surface level, right? Go in the chat. And by this time, chat should be cooking with you and should have helped you narrow down your brand statement, narrow down your target audience, and help you fine tune your brand, right? So then you can ask it to provide a list of call to actions that you can use when you post on and then fill in the blank TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Substack, whatever it is. And it will give you CTAs. And then you get to refine what your brand sounds like in those CTAs. You can even take a step back before you get to the CTAs and allow ChatGPT to help you craft the post, the actual post and the content pillars for you. I am not a proponent of cut and paste straight from ChatGPT. I'm not encouraging you to do that. I'm using it, I am telling you to use it as a scaffold, meaning you build off of what ChatGPT provides to you. Don't just copy and paste because then you sound like everyone else. Because ChatGPT and these language models speak in a way that it's kind of robotic unless you're using a custom one or you've been going back and forth with it so much that and you've been tweaking the language that now it gets your tone even more so. But most people don't go to that depth, right? So do not just copy and paste because then you will sound just like everyone else. You need to add your own flavor and your own spin on what it is that ChatGPT gives you. That's extremely important. The whole point of personal branding is it needs to be personal. And there's nothing personal about copying and pasting exactly what ChatGPT is giving you. Now, going back to the plan, or rather, I should say, going back to the personal brand checklist, let's talk about your visibility plan. And this is still in the personal branding worksheet. You are doing all this work, you are posting, you're getting your topics together. How else can you amplify what it is that you're going to do? Are you going to collab with other artists, with other people in the industry, outside of the industry? Are you going to do podcast interviews? Are you going to guest write or guest blog? Are you going to run paid ads? Are you going to form partnerships? How are you going to amplify your audience? How are you going to expand your audience? And then how are you going to build community? So, one of the things I want you to be mindful of with this personal branding worksheet is this is not tailored specifically to artists. This is um, this is a more general one for people who are doing personal branding with a business purpose, right? So everything may not apply to you. But in building your community, what does that look like in a sustainable way for you? Is it that while you are creating, you go live and you let people watch you? As you create, you go live and you talk to people? Is it that, you allow people to do Q&As with you? They can send in questions and you respond to them? Are you going to create your own Facebook group, your own WhatsApp group? What is it that you are going to do to foster community? There are different ways of doing this, and we spoke about some of them before. It's showing up online, of course, but it's also showing up offline. You need to decide what works best for you. And sometimes it is a mix of doing both.